Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird, true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 637, written by FUD Expert, Lucid Warfare. Okay, so I will try to describe this as closely and as detailed as I can recall it. I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I always had vivid dreams, but not like every day. I have been attracted to the US since I was small. My dream was, and still is, to come to the US and visit it or live there. So let's get straight to the point. It was a normal day. I went to sleep and had a crazy as hell vivid dream. I must also point out that ever since I was little, I was fascinated by guns and the army. And I mean, a lot of little boys are, but I just understood a lot of things. I didn't exactly like to think about guns killing people, but just shooting them, and always was fascinated by tanks or other army vehicles because they looked cool. Now about the dream. I vividly remember I was in the army, and we were walking with my battalion through some woods. I was wearing a green uniform, like the US Army wore in the Second World War, and I don't know why, but I had a feeling we were in the woods in France. We were walking and accidentally got caught by the enemy. The next thing I know, we were in their camp and were put to execution. I saw all my comrades get killed, and I was the last one. A detail I remember, I know this is logically not possible, but it felt like I was in the middle of a circle and the enemies were pointing weapons at me. And so at one point, I just heard a signal or a scream. I don't remember correctly. Then the bullets came flying. And the messed up thing is the feeling, the pain and the burning sensation that I felt. I also remember thinking in my head, come on, just hit me again with one more bullet and I'll be dead. The next thing, I woke up sweating and feeling anxious. I never had such a vivid dream. I'm also interested in lucid dreams and everything connected to dreams, so I researched, and I know for a fact that you can't dream about something that you haven't experienced before. For example, when you dream that you die, you wake up 1 second before because your brain doesn't know what will happen next. But I know I felt those bullets drill through my body, and I felt the pain and the burn. I also remember collapsing in the floor in my own blood. Case notes, file number 637. Many small details in this. For one thing, I can't even imagine just from words what dying would feel like. My brain couldn't really process that, especially by firing squad. To experience it and then just jolt awake, it wouldn't exactly disconnect you entirely from what just happened in your mind, which your mind was still processing as reality for however long it thought that dream was real. Or do you think it was a sort of soul memory event? That you had existed, your consciousness, as one of the soldiers at war in France back in World War II, when fighting the Nazis? Maybe even a different timeline than what happened in ours, where the US fought France in World War I, but not World War II. Although you did say the uniforms didn't quite match for this. So I'm not sure. It could even be a different timeline. I mean, who's to say that if we do have reincarnation, we always come back to the same universe? That could be entwined with quantum immortality. Maybe when the last of us dies, we are reincarnated in different universes, not just the same one. Case file number 638, written by Bad Vibes Forever. To unlock the universe's secrets, you need the master key. I was asleep when Jaysa Dwayne Ricardo Onfoy, aka XXX Tentacion, died. I woke up from a nap to text about it and Googled for confirmation. How graphic. How enlightened his spirit is. He spoke words that my mind could not fathom putting together, yet completely expressed my thoughts. My 12th house in astrology is Aquarius. He was an Aquarius sun. Just noting for those interested in astrology. I have also met another Aquarius sun who affected and correlated with my mind in similar and strange ways. Anyway, a year before he died, in the summer of 2017, I had a prophetic dream. I was lying on my back on the floor in the garage of the home I lived in at the time. It was daytime. The 2-car garage was filled with only one car, my mom's. My brother's car was gone, though I was home alone except for 2 people standing over me. My head was by the car's left and front tire. All the doors in the room and the car were closed. It was quiet. Nobody said anything the entire dream. I was not scared. The person closest to my head wore an all-black robe, hooded up so I could not see a face. He stood to the right of someone that I knew in real life. They both looked down at me. The hooded figure held out a gun and pointed it down towards me. He shot me in the neck. The immense fear and anxiety I had were worrying about how my parents would come home and find me like this. Then an immense and the strongest feeling I've ever felt in my entire life in this capacity. A wave of bliss washed over me and I woke up. It was of death, and that dream showed me that I should not be afraid to die. I could only explain the wave that washed over me as an even stronger feeling than an orgasm. The best feeling you could ever feel. I was going through very troubling emotions at this time. 1 year later, XXX Tentacion was shot in the neck while sitting in the driver's seat of a car in daytime the next summer. 1 year later, there was a passenger in the car who fled, yet similar to my dream, 2 hooded men were standing to the side of him as they one-shot him in the neck and he died. X had an impact on me that no one else could. At the time of this dream, I thought nothing of it. Now, I think about it a lot of the time. I'd researched prophetic dreams, explaining that it is perhaps because of chance. But how could this be so similar? Perhaps our minds and vibes and aura were and are connected in a way that no one could explain. It is also ironic to note that Organization 13, a group from the game Kingdom of Hearts, a game I love, which X and I both have in common, wears these all-black robes. I was also having a few other dreams during this time involving someone wearing this robe. I had a dream that Valentine's Day where someone was wearing the robe, and he led me out of jail in my dream and took me home where there was bright neon graffiti on the walls in a dark room. There was a slug painted neon yellow. When I took a shower that morning after I woke up, there was a yellow slug on the wall in real life. I just remembered that. I've had a few dreams involving this figure, but I don't see those as glitches, besides seeing the slug before waking up and then seeing it actually on the wall. Get the master key. XXX Tentacion. Bonus file written by Throwaway 418603. The perfect save. I still have no idea how to explain this, but I'll tell you exactly the way my mom told me multiple times before. When I was around 4 or 5, I had a babysitter that would stay home with me during the day while my mother was working. I always insisted on waiting for my mom in front of the building we lived in, which was located near a factory that sold and recycled plastic. My nanny was holding my hand pretty tightly to prevent me from running towards the street, since the factory was always getting trucks coming and going with supplies. That particular day, she got distracted talking to a neighbor, and apparently I saw my mom waiting to cross the street and decided to run towards her as a truck was approaching. I let go of the nanny's hand and ran, and my mother said she closed her eyes and screamed because the truck was so close. There was no way someone could save me. As she closed her eyes, she begged God and a saint, I don't remember which one, to save me. And when she opened her eyes, I was standing next to her, confused as hell as to why she was crying and shaking. The truck driver got out screaming and looking for me under the truck. He was certain he had hit me. My mom asked me what happened and I simply said, "A lady helped me cross the street," and I pointed to that said lady, but there was no one there. I still don't know how I feel about this. It wasn't my last experience with paranormal stuff. A lot happened when I moved in with my grandma, who lived in a very old house, but it sounds so movie-like. A guardian angel? I don't know.